All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm very excited about this new platform that we've adopted called Jobscan to help all of our students optimize their resume based on job descriptions. Hopefully, some of you have played around with it a little bit, but if not, this will also help you with a sneak peek of the exciting things to come. I'm here with Liana. She is our representative from JobScan, and she will be running the show. Welcome and take it away.
Hi, everybody. My name is Liana. I am the Partner Success and Education Manager here at Jobscan, and it is my very much pleasure to introduce you or to update you on the tool today for any of you who have played around with it before. Today, we're going to look at applicant tracking systems, the job market, as well as how Jobscan can help you during your job search process, specifically with like an online format, which is probably one of like the main ways that you're going to go about your job search. I am a huge fan of the reactions on Zoom. So throughout my presentation, if you'd like to give me a thumbs up when I ask for a thumbs up, if we're okay to move on. If I mention something funny and you like it, it really helps me as a presenter. If I don't see your beautiful faces, I'll put a little emoji in the chat or use a reaction like a laughing face, laughing cry face. That's really helpful for my interaction and know that you are still here, you are still hanging on and engaged in the presentation. I very much welcome questions in the chat as we go along. And Colleen and I are going to take a look at the chat and keep an eye on it to make sure that we're going to get all the questions as they come in, okay? So if we are okay to get started and get rolling, can I get a thumbs up, please? Perfect. I'm seeing some reactions. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everybody. Alrighty. So JobScan. What's JobScan? Very simply, JobScan is a tool to help you get more interviews. And how we do that is to help you with tailoring your application to a specific job, specific company, and a specific applicant tracking system. So if you're not too familiar with applicant tracking systems, let's take a look at it and think about why it is important for us to tailor those applications to an applicant tracking system first. Okay, let me share my screen. Alrighty, so applicant tracking systems, or ATSs as I'll refer to it for the rest of the presentation, is a software used by employers to streamline recruitment processes. A lot of applicant tracking systems, or ATSs, are a bundled product when a company buys into a HR management system, HR engagement system, sort of like with payroll and things like that. So ATSs are part of it for the HR and recruitment side. So for our conversation today, we are focusing specifically on recruitment. So for example, like a company like Amazon. In a single day, Amazon could receive up to 2,000 applications for a single job posting. 2,000 applications, 2,000 resumes and cover letters is a wild number of applications for a single human recruiter to go through by themselves. So a company like Amazon utilizes an ATS to filter through the 2,000 applications based off of education, experiences, keywords, so on and so forth. The ATS will go through all of these applications and then generate a report for the human recruiter. Hi, human recruiter. These are the top 20 candidates from today's pool of applicants. 20 resumes then is a much more manageable number for a human recruiter to go through. So they will filter that or go and review that and then decide who gets to come to the interview process afterwards. So I hope that makes sense in terms of like a big picture understanding of applicant tracking systems. Okay. So within Fortune 500 companies, almost 100% of companies will utilize an applicant tracking system. So if you take anything away from today's presentation, I hope it's this, is that if you are applying to jobs online, it is going to be almost impossible for you to avoid applicant tracking systems completely. It is something you will come into contact with. It's going to be your first barrier to entry, which is why it's so important for you to think about and tailor your application to an applicant tracking system first, pass that, and then get to the human recruiter to get into the interview process. Okay. Within Fortune 500 companies, there are over 70 different ATSs available on the market. And these are the most popular ones within Fortune 500 companies. And for today's example, we're going to look at Taleo. All applicant tracking systems do sort of the similar thing in terms of generating a report for the human recruiter to show the top candidates. What they extract out of your resume in terms of that key information will be different. How they do it will vary between different types of ATSs between different products. But at the end of the day, it is an assessment tool for the recruiter to make their life easier to filter through the thousands and thousands of applications that come through each day. Okay. So with that in mind, let's take a look also at the numbers for non-Fortune 500 companies. So if you even had the thought that, oh, it's okay, I'm not even going to apply to Fortune 500 companies, I'm going to focus my job search on small companies and startups. Well, small companies and startups also will utilize an applicant tracking system depending on their size. For example, like here at Jobscan, we are still considered a small-ish company. We're a company of like 50-ish people, not all of us full-time. And we utilize an ATS called Lever. So for me to apply to this job that I'm in right now, my application went through Lever. Lever flagged me as a top candidate, and then my hiring manager pulled me from a pile to invite me to the interview, so on and so forth. So while resumes are a key part of trying to bypass the ATS or pass the ATS, we need to know that there are variations in ATSs. And today we're going to take a look at those variations, what an ATS is going to do specifically to your resume, specifically related to the job that you are trying to apply for. And we're going to take a look at that, okay? So let's get into Jobscan and see how we can help you with getting some callbacks, okay? Alrighty. So I'm going to log in to my Jobscan right here. This is my dashboard, and all of you now have access to premium Jobscan accounts. With premium Jobscan, you get 6 features, which are our resume builder, our job board, our PowerEdit tool, our cover letter generator, our job tracker, as well as our LinkedIn optimizer. Job seekers who utilize these 6 features together see 43% less time job searching. So one thing that we know about this competitive market is that it is competitive, but one thing that helps you with increasing your chances of getting an interview is being a very early applicant. So it's important for you to have your notifications on when jobs are available. But the way that we have built our tool is to create in some automations for you, some ways to inspire you, some ways to get you off the ground, jumping off the ground and up and running quicker so that you are application ready faster. So let's take a look at the first feature and how we're going to help you with that is our resume builder. So for any of you who are at any part of your journey with a resume, you have a resume you're very proud of, or you don't have a resume yet that you are super secure in, we can help you with building an ATS-friendly and an ATS-accessible resume here. So under your name, when you go to your profile, click your resume builder. We've got 3 options for you. If you have one of those resumes you're very proud of, you can import that here, and then we'll just check for formatting in terms of accessibility. If your margins are okay, your lining's okay, and the ATS is going to be able to extract that information. If you're not super married to a resume that you have right now, we can import some of your content from LinkedIn to create a new ATS-friendly, ATS-accessible resume for you. Or if you just wanted to start from scratch, we can do that as well. So let's start from scratch just to show what is within the resume builder. So for me today, I want to apply to something simple like an event manager role today. When I put this in here, based on our historical data, we're going to suggest to you some skills that are usually incorporated into an event manager type resume. So this is, we're talking about the jumping off point to give you some sources of inspiration so that you're not having to do everything from scratch. So under event manager skills, I like event analysis, event planning, some marketing, what else? Webinar management. That sounds good. I can add more here manually if I'd like to, but this sounds good for me. And I'm going to click continue. And when I click continue, it will give me some sources of inspiration for ATS-friendly resume templates. You are not married to this in any way. This is just for you to get started. So if you wanted to change this template, you wanted to change the format, the look and feel, you can, but we're just going to pick one right now just to get started. And then all you need to worry about is filling in all of this content. And as you fill it in, it'll start to populate on the right-hand side where you will find your ATS-friendly resume here. So I'm going to just put this in. And as you go through, you see it starts to populate here. And then you can add your work experience, your education, your projects, your awards, your achievements, your skills, everything that really needs to be in the resume, you can start to go through and put it in, but you don't have to worry about formatting. We are worrying about the font size, the lining, the color, the margins, all of that for you. So you just need to worry about content. So this is quite an involved process. You can play around with it on your own time. I have fun with it, but let's assume now we have a resume and I want to look for a job. Within your Jobscan Premium profile, you have this tab here called Jobs, which is a personalized job board for you. And I say personalized as because it is going to start to recommend roles for you or show you roles based off of your last behaviors on your profile. So in my last few actions in this profile, my Leana student profile, I have looked for roles that had incorporated the word senior event coordinator. So because that was sort of the last application I did, my job board for jobs shows me roles that have the title senior event coordinator, senior event manager, event coordinator, senior event manager here. So I can, from here, go through and start window shopping for jobs to apply for. If I do like one, let's say this one from Lowe's Hotels, I'm window shopping. This looks good here. I can save job and it'll immediately go to my job tracker. This eliminates the function for you or the requirement for you to copy paste manually and manually record any of these job applications that you would want to apply for. This just simple save job. It will go to your job tracker. And in this job tracker here, you will find all of your previous applications and other saved jobs. Your saved jobs here, see the Lowe's Hotel one right here. It says a low score right now, only because I have not yet put a resume into it. It is just waiting for me in a nice, neat pile in my saved pile, waiting for me to action on whenever I am ready. So again, I didn't have to copy paste anything. But if you didn't want to use our sort of internal job board, you can use other external job boards that you might be more familiar with, like Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Monster, or Handshake. We have a Google Chrome extension that can help you to do that, extracting that information again. You do not need to manually copy and paste. So with our Google Chrome extension, you will notice on those platforms our Save Job button here. I'll show you this Google Chrome extension. I'll actually drop this in the chat right now. Let me drop this in the chat if you wanted to install it. Here you go. So when you install it for the first time, you will need to restart your Google Chrome browser for it to fully install. And then once you do, on Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Monster, and Handshake, you will see this button now. So as I am window shopping, let's say for a lead event production manager, that sounds good. I'm reading through it, looks good to me. When I click Save Job, it will pull all of this information and I can click Save and it will go directly to my job tracker. So again, not needing for me to manually copy and paste anything. But for some of you, I know you are also not only looking at job boards, you are looking directly at company career pages because some of you will have a dream company that you want to work for. My dream company that I love to work for is Lululemon. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. I'm Canadian. So I'm in the birthplace of Lululemon. I love what they do with local municipalities in the summertime. They just do a lot of outdoor programming. Oh, I got an applause reaction for that. Yes. Okay. Other Lululemon fans in the room. Lovely. So if I'm looking directly at a company's career page, this is the only time I will need to manually copy paste something. Okay. So I'm just going to pull the first one here for a role in Canada. The information I will need from any job posting that I pull directly from a company's career page is things specifically about the skills, experiences, and requirements for the job. So the job summary only, the core responsibilities, the requirements, things like that. What I do not need from this are things like the compensations and benefits package. They are about the role, but they're not specifically about the skills or experiences I need to be good at the role. Other things like the diversity statement, accessibility statement, all great statements to have in a job description, not necessary for you in terms of utilizing this on Jobscan. And also things like who we are as an organization, what Lululemon is about, not specific enough to the role. I don't need this information. So let's say I'm applying to an events role at Lululemon, right? I'm back on my dashboard. I'm going to click New Scan here. And this is where I'm going to copy paste a job description. So I have a job description for a events manager role at Lululemon. I'm going to copy paste that here. This is a text box. So if you do accidentally add all of those pieces of information like the compensation and benefits package, like things about the company, you can take it out. Or if you've missed anything as well, you can add a little bit more in here just to add it because this is a text box here. Once you have a job description, obviously you will need to scan a resume against it to see how well you're going to do against its ATS. So here you can upload, if you're using it for the first time, you upload your resume, or if you use our resume builder, that resume will start to populate here. And the more that you use this tool, the more that you use Jobscan, you can start to save your favorite resumes as your base resume. So you're going to do a couple like a couple applications, right? You do one and you're really proud of the resume that you created for that application. And you're like, oh, this is a really good, solid resume. I want to use this as a jumping off point for my next applications. You can save those resumes and name it whatever you want. So I have base resumes for an events roles. I have base resumes for program coordinators, partnership roles, community engagement roles. They're all my resume. Like all my education, all my experiences just tweaked a little bit differently for different type of roles because like all of you, you are multifaceted people. You have lots of transferable skills. You are not just looking for one type of job title. Those job titles also can differ between industries and they need to be tweaked based on industry. So you can save as many resumes as you need to with your premium profile. Your premium access can save as many resumes as you need. So with this events role here, I'm going to use my base events resume and I'm going to scan it to get a match report and to see what I can do to improve it. So this is my base events resume right here. Okay, it is currently being assessed against the job description I uploaded from Lululemon. And you'll see here there are things that are highlighted in green. The things that are highlighted in green are key skills, keywords that exist in my resume that match with the job description. This is currently contributing to my match rate of 57. 57 is a good score here, and what I'm being scored on right now is the ATS's ability to pick up my content in the way that it is currently written. This is not a reflection of you as a person. This is not a reflection of you as a candidate. I know some of you will be very grade oriented, and some of you will be like, oh, this is a failing grade. I'm not even going to apply. Thank you, next. That's not it at all. We're just talking about probably your resume formatting, the grammar that you're using, maybe the vocabulary, the tenses. That's it. There are lots of ways that you can increase this score, and I'm going to show you how. Okay, so how I want to increase this score here is 3 ways in searchability, hard skills, and soft skills. But first, I want to feed it enough information so that we can kind of give Jobscan enough context to be able to give us very specific information. So here in update job information, I'm going to click it. The company I'm applying to is Lululemon. This is for an events manager role. And very importantly, I want to put in the URL for where we got the job posting. This is the thing that is going to tell us what applicant tracking system Lululemon is using. So I'm going to update details here. Perfect. And first, let's go through searchability. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. So this is readable. Is this zoomed in enough for everybody? Can I get a thumbs up, please? Or should I go in one more? Okay, I'm getting some thumbs up. Okay, perfect. So here under searchability, it's all about the ATS. So this is where we're going to give you that context to know. So like, hey, what ATS is happening in the background here and what is it doing to my resume? So because I put in Lululemon, that this is where I got the job from, Jobscan has identified that Lululemon uses the ATS called Taleo. And this is what Taleo does or doesn't do when it's reading your resume. So Taleo recognizes only exact keywords. The way it's written in the job description is the way it's trying to find it in your resume, okay? Taleo does not recognize common abbreviations. So if you are somebody who is a CPA, a certified public accountant, it's in your best interest to type in certified public accountant in brackets CPA. If you just put in CPA, while a technical recruiter will look at CPA and know that you're an accountant, CPA just as letters to Taleo might just be that, just might be letters. Taleo as a software might not be able to recognize that CPA equals accountant. So in your best interest to always type it out. Taleo does not correctly parse flowcharts. So for any of you who wanted to be a little bit more creative and wanted to show some sort of data visualization to showcase your proficiency in some skills, Teleo's not going to be able to pick that up. No line charts, no bar charts, no pie graphs, nothing like that. Taleo is just going to see it as a picture and it cannot extract that information. So it's just wasted space on your resume. And Taleo does not recognize different tenses, abbreviations, or acronyms of skills and keywords. So in my morning presentation of this, I got a good question of like, I have a lot of skills that match with the job description, but Jobscan always says that it's not matching. Well, it really, really depends on the cadence of which you write all of their key skills. Because to ATSs, there are differences between customer service and customer services. There is a difference between sports marketing and sports marketer. So let's see that in action and how it affects your match rate here, depending on the tenses that you use, the cadence of how you are going to write your key skills in here, okay? So let's look at my resume here. Let's say for this top example, manage the consolidation of reports. Consolidation of reports is highlighted green. So my key skill of consolidation of reports matches with what's in the job description and what Taleo is looking for. Let's say I pulled this from ChatGPT and I'm like, okay, I don't want this to be super robotic sounding. I'm going to change it to my voice and how I would say it. So I want to say it's managed report consolidation. I want to be a little bit more, I want to be less formal. I will be a little more informal. So if I want to change it, because you can edit this in your PowerEdit here, if I change managed report consolidation or consolidation of reports to report consolidation, I'm going to click out and see what that happens here. So I've lost 2 whole points. I went from 57 to 55, and report consolidation is no longer highlighted in green. And that's because to Taleo, report consolidation and consolidation of reports are 2 different things, and it is only looking for one. There's only one correct answer to Taleo, and this is not it. So be very careful as you go through all of your skills that you are writing it in the cadence that it is written in the job description, and it's matching with the cadence of the job description, okay? So let me get those 2 points back. Manage the consolidation of reports. Oh, just hearing some background noise here. Is there a question from the audience? No, let me check the chat really quick. Okay, I'm getting some thumbs up. Okay, perfect, very good. So that is the background, under searchability, that is the background of the applicant tracking system that you're going to go up against. So it's really important that you read through it first, which is why we put it at the top, so that you can adjust immediately all of your sentence structure, your vocabulary, your grammar, and in terms of what's in your resume here, okay? Okay, the other 2 areas that we can help you to increase your score here of your match rate is hard skills and soft skills. The mechanics of it will work exactly the same, so I'll go show you in hard skills. In hard skills, you have things that get green check marks, so they are things that already exist in your resume, and then things that are highlighted in red to showcase that these are opportunities for you to add into your resume. 2 ways that you can add skills into your resume is first, if you have a core skills section with this button, this arrow right here, you can just chuck things into your core skills section. So let's say I want to put brand loyalty into core skills. I'm going to click here. Brand loyalty is chucked into there, and my score is now updated to 59. This is very easy for folks who are in industries that maybe have specialized systems, tools, machinery that are very common in your industry that don't really need any explanation, or any of those job descriptions that say you need Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Suite, Google Suite, Slack, PowerPoint, things like that. So you just chuck it into your core skills section. But if you're looking for a way to elaborate on a skill and you want some inspiration, some ideas, let's say for project management, if you click on a missing skill, through our AI capabilities, we will generate some suggested phrases for you to incorporate the words project management in here. Ooh, manage projects. I don't like this one actually, but these 2 here have it. So I want to obviously, again, following the exact cadence of the job description. So I'm going to look at these 2 here. And if I like it, I can click, copy, and then paste it where it makes sense in my resume. And then I will let that update. So the project management is now highlighted green and my score is 61. So I will go through the hard skills and soft skills to see the things that I can add. While AI is very helpful and can help to speed things along, again, we are trying to focus on getting application ready faster. It is still on us as ethical human beings to do our due diligence to make sure that whatever AI has generated for us is an accurate reflection of our experience. Okay. I'm not encouraging anyone to lie on their resume, but this is great if you needed a jumping off point, if you needed some inspiration to see what sentence structure could be like to incorporate that tool, that key skill into your resume. Okay. I'd also like to mention here that here we do recommend the score of 75% or more. That's an internal sort of based off our user data and behavior analytics of like what resume gets from application to interview. Sweet spot is like 75. You do not need to make 100% to be a good candidate, okay? Internally, 75% is great. I will tell you externally, in terms of the research that is out there, in terms of recruiter behavior, your chances of getting an interview plateau once you hit the 50% mark. You are equally as likely to get an interview if you scored between 50% to 100%. That is sort of the benchmark for recruiters in terms of when they are looking at their ATS report of their applicants. 50% and higher, you have equal chances. So the goal is not 100%. The goal here is to increase your chances at passing the ATS. So if you started at a 30, getting to a 60 now, you have now doubled your chances. So, which is a great increase. Okay, cool. Any questions about applicant tracking systems or the hard skills and soft skills in the resume editing here while we're talking about the match rate score? I'm going to check the chat really quick. Okay, looks like we're good. If you do have any burning questions, feel free to check it in the chat. Or if not, if you did want to unmute yourself as well, I'm very happy and welcome that. Okay. But here, you can see here under our match report, we still have recruiter tips and formatting. Recruiter tips here will not impact your match rate score. Match rate is only about the applicant tracking system, and it is impacted by searchability, hard skills, and your soft skills. But we still wanted to put in recruiter tips in here because during the process, a human recruiter will lay eyes on your resume once it passes the ATS, right? Once it gets past it and the ATS is giving you the thumbs up, a human recruiter is going to look at it. At that point, we still want your ATS-friendly and ATS-accessible resume to be a good reading experience for the human recruiter, okay? So under recruiter tips, these are suggestions that we have sourced from our recruiter focus groups, okay? And like I said, those are just suggestions, okay? Suggestions like measurable results. If you have them, great. If you have already engaged with your career services on campus and the career coach and career advisors there, you might have already heard this, that a lot of the career folks on campus will have said measurable results. Numbers are great on your resume. If you do not have numbers, it is okay. You will not get penalized. The score will not penalize you, okay? If you have a really long paragraph, we'll flag that for you. Recruiters take average of 6 seconds to review a resume. They're not spending all those 6 seconds on one paragraph about you. And resume tone. So here we are looking at sort of common cliches. There have been recruiters in our focus group that have been very candid with me to say, Leanna, if I see another candidate say that they are a passionate and dynamic team player, I'm going to lose my mind because there have been thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of passionate and dynamic team players. So if you have anything like that in terms of a cliche, like the word, let's say, passionate, we will flag that for you. But you notice my score is still 61. ATS is not biased in this way. It doesn't care if you are a passionate or dynamic or a team player. It cares if that is a key skill written in the job description. But under resume tone, we will flag there is a cliche in your resume here, so you can think to take it out, just so that the recruiter has a good time reading your resume. Okay, so those are all the suggestions in here that you can go through if you so wish. I do see a question in here. Can we continue with our existing resume templates to scan and to get the score? I would need an elaboration on that. What do you mean can continue our existing resume template to scan?
So when we upload our resume, it is automatically changing the template of it with the different options set, right? So can we just not choose any other option and just let the resume be in the same template that it is already in, and then just scan it and get the score?
Well, you'll still always have to scan against a job description. All of our suggestions are against a job description. So as long as you have that, yeah, you'll be able to. But we're not just like scoring your resume just as like a resume. It always needs to be against a job description.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Good. All right. I hope that answers the question. All righty. So once we have our resume that we are happy with and you get like a check mark for your formatting, I get a check mark here just because I've used our built-in resume builder. So I know this is ATS accessible. But if you did need to change anything in the content of your resume, you can go to editor to add any other sections you might have missed. Or if you wanted to change up the style, like I said, you're not married to any of these templates here, you can change it here and you can change up the color as well. This will also be ATS accessible here. Okay, so now I'm happy with this. I can download it here to save and then to use it to apply to a job. And if I really, really like this resume, I can save it with this star here to make it my new base events resume or base insert job title here for whatever job that I'm working on. And this will come up as an option for me to use for all future applications that I do. Okay, so that's the resume part. And within the job description, sometimes it will ask for a cover letter as well. Very 50-50 these days. A lot of recruiters are opting into just doing a questionnaire during the application process. So they ask you to upload your resume, and then in the application, they'll ask you a couple of questions here and there. So a lot of recruiters are opting in for that. But in case they do ask for a cover letter, we're going to help you with a cover letter generator here. Again, at the bottom, caveat of AI is helpful but not perfect. Please always validate that this is an accurate reflection of your experience. But if you do need a jumping off point, you can click generate cover letter here, and we will take bits of the job description, match them with the things you've mentioned in your resume to elaborate on it a little bit. What we are not doing in terms of making things up is we're not making things up, but the cover letter is a great place for you to flex sort of interpersonal connections with the organization. So talking about their mission, their vision, their values, things like that. We are not writing those things for you because that is something that you will have to do on your own. At the end of the day, for all of this, even with your AI capabilities in here, you are in the driver's seat. You are responsible for these documents. This is your application. So you will have to be the active participant in this, right? So you have to validate everything, and you're also the one putting your name on it. So here was a very short cover letter. I don't love how short this is. So I'm just going to quickly rewrite with AI. With your premium profiles, there is no limit to how many times you can rewrite this cover letter. You can go on as many times as you like until you like something. Though what I have seen happen most is students will take a sentence that they like. I like that they gave me some measurable results here. I'm going to take this sentence, save it on a document myself, rewrite again, save another couple sentences. I'm going to add some notes here. Let's say add note about the company values, edit it as I need to, and then jigsaw puzzle a thing together from the different versions of cover letter that AI has written for me. And then if I like it, this is where I can download it here. So I have a resume I'm happy with, a cover letter I've edited a little bit, and I've downloaded all ready to apply to it. So I'm going to click track now to just keep myself organized. So when I go to track here, this is going to my job tracker. So in my job tracker, it's just going to remind me that this is all of the things I'm saving. That was the job description. This is my resume, the cover letter we worked on as well. If it's all good, I can save this. And then here it is. And then when I apply to it, I can add the application date. Once I've added the application date, this is sort of like a reference for me. Okay, it's been 3 weeks since I applied. I haven't heard back, probably didn't get the job. It's okay. Thank you, next, right? But if you did get an interview, amazing. You can add the interview date and time in here. And this is syncable with your Google Calendar for reminders. But one thing that we're going to do in terms of supporting you through the interview process as well is sending you sort of gentle nudges in the right direction for best practices during an interview. So setting the date and time for your interview, the day before, our system will send you a notification to say, hey, you have an interview with Lululemon coming up. Do you know who you're talking to? Have you read up about the company? Do you know what questions you're going to ask? So some gentle nudges for you to help you get started on your homework to get prepared for the interview. And then the day after the interview, our system will send you a notification again to say, hey, how was that interview with Lululemon? Did you know that only about 20% of candidates actually say thank you to their recruiter or hiring manager after an interview? Here is a sample thank you message that you can send to the recruiter now on LinkedIn or via email. And then we wish you the best of luck. Hope that you're the successful candidate. Again, all these gentle nudges will supply you with all of these resources, but it's again up to you. You are in the driver's seat. It's up to you to take sort of action to send out those thank you notes and then get prepared for the interview, okay? And then if you get the job offer, congratulations, you can add salary information, you can add the date that you need to accept the offer by, and just using this job tracker to keep yourself organized for what's on the table for you, okay? So this is your job tracker here, and you can have access to this all the time so that you can kind of keep track of with where you're at with different applications, okay? Any questions so far? I'm gonna check the chat. Oh, we got that one. Okay. That sounds good. If we're okay to go, can I get a thumbs up, please? Keep it rolling. Thank you. Okay, perfect. I'm seeing all of these. Okay, perfect. So at Jobscan, we also know that your job search, your application is not just a resume. It's not just your cover letter. There are a lot of things you have to do as a job seeker to put yourself out there as a candidate, right? So we're talking about like things like networking, info sessions, industry events, like putting yourself out there to meet recruiters in real life. Nothing will ever beat networking. Nothing ever beats sort of that interpersonal, human connection. So that's a huge part of it. But another huge part also that can help you to sort of advertise yourself as a top candidate is LinkedIn. 87% of recruiters will go to your LinkedIn to vet you as a candidate during the interview process. So it's important for you to have all of your, your best foot forward. It's important for you to have a very robust LinkedIn so that when the recruiter does check you out, there's enough information there for them to make a decision on you, okay? So that's how we have incorporated the LinkedIn Optimizer into this as well. So at the top of your LinkedIn Optimizer, you're going to choose the Optimizer. You can put in your URL for your LinkedIn profile here. And then we are going to ask to assess your LinkedIn profile against at least 3 job descriptions. So here we ask for 3 because different from the sort of the resume optimization piece, because resume optimization is dedicated to one single job posting for a single company against their applicant tracking system. LinkedIn is sort of like how you are a great candidate for a type of role, for a type of industry, right? So giving our LinkedIn Optimizer at least 3 job descriptions gives it enough information to paint a picture of the type of role that you're going against or the type of industry that you're wanting to be part of, okay? So these are coming from my save pile here, my saved section, saved jobs that I've applied for. And I'm just going to click the top 3 maybe. Okay, and if you wanted to add more yourself manually, you can copy and paste other job descriptions here, which will then populate as onto your list as well on this side, okay? So I'm going to pick these 3 here at random, and it's going to scan my actual LinkedIn profile against these 3 job descriptions. So let's see how I do. Okay, let's scan and see what the report says for my personal LinkedIn profile. I don't think in there I have an events role at all. Oh, 59% is not terrible. I'll take it. But we'll show you the ways that you can improve and how to make your profile a little bit more robust, specifically for the roles that you're going up against, okay? Basic information here will tell you, okay, I'm missing the province in my contact information, and I'm not open to work. Open to work on your LinkedIn profile is a great indicator for recruiters to sort of showcase that you are open to being interacted with. It is also helpful to the LinkedIn algorithm to promote you as an available candidate. So open to work is quite important, and it's helpful for you in terms of putting yourself out there. High impact area here talks about a little bit more about the LinkedIn algorithm. So the LinkedIn algorithm takes keywords from your headline and your profile summary to see if you're a good match for whatever the recruiter is looking for, and then to put you on their sort of search results list. So in my headline, based off of the 3 job descriptions that I have uploaded, it is recommending that I put the words event production in my headline. And they say like, oh, my headline is too short. I have 120 character limit, and there's parts here that can help you to generate a new headline. Same with the profile summary. My summary is too short at 456 characters. I have 2,000 character limit, and I should use it all up. I should include the words event production, project management, video production, in my summary. And it again gives me a way to sort of generate a new summary based off of these suggestions. Okay, so you can see here on the left here as we scroll, this is also all of the ways, the sections that we are giving you a report. So let's go through a little bit more. Work experience here talks more about the accessibility of information from your profile. So it's important that you provide a lot of this information up front for a recruiter, because you don't want the recruiter to work too hard in learning about you. So I get full green check marks for company name because all of the companies I have worked for are linked in my profile. So this is my LinkedIn profile. And then looking at all of these companies here, if a recruiter is looking at it and they're like, "Ooh, the round table, what is this? I have never heard of this company." They are one click away from learning more about me. And they don't have to go and digging, because that just kind of turns a recruiter off from your profile if they're working too hard sometimes, okay? So this is all the ways we're going to point out that like this could be a little bit more easily accessible to a recruiter. And let's see. Okay, event production is a skill that is mentioned 4 times between the 3 job descriptions and 0 times in my LinkedIn profile. So if I'm trying to career transition into like an events manager role, I might want to take a look at this list, add a couple of these key skills, maybe then call my best friends to say, "Can you go to my LinkedIn profile to endorse me for these skills that I've just put on my LinkedIn? Please and thank you." So I would take a look at this to kind of add to my skill section. And then we wrap up with education and tips and tricks. Tips and tricks, again, coming from our recruiter focus groups, asking recruiters, what do you love to see on candidate profiles? They want to see the vanity URL, so a LinkedIn URL that includes your first and last name, and number of connections. The more you have, the better. It's just a sort of green flag for a recruiter. The more you have, it says that you're making good impressions on people. People are happy to connect with you. That's just green flags overall. So from this LinkedIn report here, what I would suggest is go into your profile, whichever section has a pencil icon, to edit as per those suggestions, and then to rescan your profile to see this increase, see your scan rate increase. So now you have a resume that has increased your ATS match rate capabilities. You have a cover letter that you're happy with, and now you have a LinkedIn profile that is robust and accessible for the recruiter to check out. And those are the 3 ways that Jobscan can help you in your job search to put you out there as a great candidate. So, any questions with what you have access to? And pass it back to Colleen.
Thank you so much. You breezed through that rapidly, so I wouldn't be surprised if we had a few questions. All right. Would it be possible for us to use our own resume template? Oh, we already did that one, right? Continue. In other words, can we keep our current format instead of fully changing it to match one of the provided templates? I think a little bit of clarification from the previous question.
I think yes, is a reports function which we are currently making accessible to the premium users. It is, I will have to get back to you on where that button is, but it exists, I know. Yes, this is my first day back from a long vacation, everybody. So I've not fully updated myself of the changes onto the the profile yet, but I will check back with Colleen where that button exists to just get like sort of a report on your resume content instead of like the formatting.
Does that answer that question?
Yeah, can I interject something, follow-up question for that?
Sure.
Oh, hi, Ray.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Hi, Colleen.
Good.
It's a related question because one of our other students from the Levy School of Business uploaded his resume, and it got and I think JobScan had a bit of a problem identifying where one job experience stopped and the next one began. I think it may have been in the same company, 2 positions in the same company, or it could be 2 separate companies. They kind of merged them together. And so I don't know if there's the scanning that they do when you upload your own resume, if the date sequence is not chronological or something like that, that it kind of merges things together. So you might want to check on that as well.
Yeah, Rafe, if you wanted to send me that example as well, I'll take a look. But definitely date formatting is very important in terms of, as I understand the confusion sometimes when you're at the same company in terms of formatting. If you maybe like missed out the company name because on the top visually you can see the company name, but then you don't fill it for the second or the third job that you've had at that company. For an ATS parser that extracts that information, sometimes it might see, okay, it's just a continuation of the same job to merge it together.
Yeah, and I
So
think in this
format.
particular case, it was where the original resume of their own
Mm,
was trying to be reformatted to one of the standard templates. So
mm.
yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, just for your information.
Thanks, Ray. But we have heard that feedback related to, again, to that question of just like, I just want to report on like how it does for my content. We have, that was part of our legacy version that is making its comeback now. And I think that is one of those things that we have now enabled, which is why I'm like, I'm going to look for that button to send to you, Colleen.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Perfect. Any other questions? I'll look at the chat as well.
I know one of the
Question for
questions
you.
that oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. So I was following along and I went ahead and uploaded my resume, and I ran into a similar issue where I couldn't use my existing resume. I was forced to convert it to a more standardized template, which I was fine with. And I noticed that I got a very low score, and it was particularly focused on my hard skills and how my hard skills did not match the exact kind of keywords that it was
Mhm.
looking for. But I understand that those keywords are going to change from internship to internship. And so, do you have any suggestions on how, without fundamentally changing my resume to, edit, in this case, it was 16 keywords I was missing, to maybe find a little bit more of a middle ground so that you don't have to fundamentally change your resume every time you're applying to a new job?
Well, two things on that. Um, and then I'll sort of toss it to Kalino. So just like for like resume best practices. First, of the 16 keywords, you don't have to incorporate all. I mean, again, the goal is not 100%. And of those 16, I cannot guarantee that you might have all of those 16,
Mhm.
like the full set of skills. As much as we want for like resume, we want to showcase us as multifaceted people. So not just to like focus in on like every single thing of the like that hits the box. So 16, I think even like that's a daunting number. Focus on the ones that you for sure can back up. Even in an interview, you said like, for sure I have these skills. Second, you will want to, for resume best practices, job scan or not, always tailor a resume to that specific company, to that specific job description, to that specific ATS. Different companies will utilize different ATSs. They will do different things. So it the way that JobScan is built hopefully doesn't make you feel like the changing of your resume each time is going to be like the most tedious thing. That's why we have all of like the AI capabilities as well to kind of get you off the ground running faster. But JobScan or not, you will always have to, again, the best practice, optimize to that job, to that company, to that ATS if you're going up against an ATS.
Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for sharing those things.
No
And
problem.
and I do agree with you that, yeah, impossible to hit all 16. It was just, I know it was initially kind of alarming when I got a low score and I went, well, wait a minute, I know how to do these things. I just didn't know those, I needed to include some of those specific words. So thank you for that context.
No problem. Pauline, did you want to add anything about resume best practice, job scan or not?
Yeah, no, I think it's a mind switch, I think, for a lot of our students, because you've built a resume based on what you've done. And now you're really having it focus on a job description, and it is in your best interest to tweak it for every position you apply for, which is definitely different than I think the practices in the past. So
Mhm.
things are changing, are changing, particularly with AI. So I think JobScan is a great tool to help you do that and help you do that quickly and easily, so that you can have the best chance of being in that top 20 list of candidates that get a phone call.
Great, thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions?
I have a question. So for Fortune 500 companies, the ratio to pass the ATS system to get a human recruiter to read it is about 1%, right? 20 out of 2,000. For the smaller companies, I would assume it would be a little bit higher, like 5%. That's my first question. My second question is that if every student is equipped using Jobscan, and I would find it might be very difficult to pass that threshold to get a human to review the resume because it's all very polished and ATS friendly. Those are my questions.
So to your first point, Isabel, so the ratio there that you have, the 20 out of 2,000 is a sort of a generic example and not industry standard. The rate of applications wildly differs from industry, wildly differs from different types of roles. So to put into context, for jobs here at Jobscan, like for mine, I was one of 900 applicants within the first 5 hours, I think. But for the different roles, for like engineering roles, they were up to like I think the thousands of applications. So between different roles, we'll have different ratios.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. So in terms of that, sort of just like have that in mind. So it's not really like 2%, 5% of like passing rate.
Yeah.
It's difficult to answer sort of like the passing of that threshold because there differs between like what the ATS report generates and what the recruiter behavior is. So there is that piece of like the science and the art behind it. So the ATS, all it does is generate a report of all applicants and then showcases sort of like these are the top ones that score really well. But again, sort of referencing the behavioral analytics of a recruiter, 50% are up as a score. This is kind of good enough for them to go and at least have a second look and then review. And then depending on that, they might filter again. Maybe first I will interview the local candidates that have the location close by, or candidates that have maybe first the specific degree. So even depending on that of like who they will contact first will differ based on what that recruiter specifically wants to look for that day, depending also on the hiring manager one. So there's a lot of nuances in terms of behavioral analytics of the recruiter, but for Jobscan, it is just, hey, based off of this job description, these are the keywords there. So at baseline, we want to make sure that you're all good to go when you're going up against a bot. So using Jobscan as a bot to go up against the bot, what happens after that? Hopefully you still make it to that human piece and then they get to decide. So it's just not, we don't want that situation where like you're already checked out by a bot just because you're like missing tenses for a keyword. Yeah. Does that help to give you a little bit more context?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Cool. Good. Any more questions?
Questions?
I have a question. I noticed that there is no option to sort the job listings by the posted date because it would be really helpful for an applicant to be very early. So is there any option to sort the jobs based on the date that has been posted?
That is a piece of feedback that we have got. I think our engineers are working on that. Thank you also again for reiterating that. I will send a message to our engineers. The job board is a very new feature for this quarter that came out. So we're still working toward working from customer feedback about it. But the date ones is something that is that we have heard of. But so our jobs from the job board are scraped from LinkedIn right now. So as long as you also have your LinkedIn account, your LinkedIn alerts on, those will be the most beneficial, productive, effective thing for you to have all of your alerts on. Specifically for me, for like this role, again, using myself as an example, I had alerts on for Jobscan because previous to this, I was a career coach in higher education utilizing Jobscan. Jobscan was already on sort of my radar. I had alerts set for them and then applied within the first 5 hours of the job being posted.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So LinkedIn has a great notification feature that I would recommend highly for all users to use.
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
I think that we're at the end. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thanks everyone for joining us. I will be posting the recording on the Career Center website as soon as it's automated. So appreciate everyone being here, and thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.